We're closing in on the end of 2025. There's only one UFC event left for the year, so I wanted to make my predictions for the UFC in 2026. So let's get into it. First off, I think Tom Aspinall is going to be vacated of his championship title. This is a perfect situation for Dana White. Dana White seems to be upset with Tom Aspinall. They got the eye thing going on. It seems like it's a long recovery. So I think they strip the title from Tom Aspinall, and they're going to do France. Hold on. They're going to do Cyril versus Alex Pereira for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. Big fight. They have the potential for Alex Pereira to be the first ever triple champion in the UFC, while they have also the opportunity to make Cyril Gane, who seems to be a bit of a golden boy for Dana White, to finally win his first undisputed UFC Heavyweight Championship and cast Tom Aspinall onto the side, off to the side. And you know what? You know what I think the perfect place for this fight to go down at? The White House. They're hyping up this White House card something crazy. It seems like everything's building towards the White House, and anything past the White House is not even like worth talking about to them right now. The White House is their WrestleMania right now. And you know what? Let's move on. I think Alex Pantoja, he is also going to get cast to the side. They're already talking about another title fight for Japan that doesn't include Alex Pantoja. Even if he's able to heal from this quickly, I think Dana White's going to see, oh, we got a chance to capture this market. We're going to move on. And he's going to get casted off to the side for Tatsuru Tera. I butchered that a little bit. They're going to get this man a title fight against Joshua Van in 2026 in Japan. I don't. What's that going to be like, March or something? Van's welcome to any possibility. He wants to run it back with a Pantoja, but he'll fight Taylor too. And you know what? Here's my other prediction. I think Joshua Van is going to retain his title successfully in his first defense. If it's against Pantoja, I think he might beat him. He's going to beat them. Nothing. He's going to beat Alex Pantoja, in my opinion, or he beats Tatsuro Rutera. And I think he defends the title more than once this year next year, 2026. He's gonna beat both those guys. People are thinking, oh, it's a fluke win. He's not actually the real champion. He's not gonna do this. We're gonna see something like what we saw with Aljo, a fluke win, shouldn't have won the title, but then he goes on a bit of a run. Moving on. I think also unfortunately, the third fighter that's gonna get cast to the side is Merab Wallace-Feely. And he's gonna get casted to the side for Umar Nurmagomedov. Realistically, Merab deserves an immediate rematch for the title, the way he went about this year. But you know they love those Nurmagomedovs. There's a Madoff that could be a champion. So if he gets past Davis and Figueredo, he's gonna get the title shot. And Peter Yan, speaking of Peter Yan, he thinks Merab and Umar should fight for the title, but there's no way. If Umar beats Davison Figueredo in January, which I think he will, he's gonna get this title shot against Piotr Yan. And I think Piotr Yan beats him. He's long guard. I think he has what it takes. I mean, Umar, I think would adjust better than him dipping down on like takedown, not takedown defenses, but that overhand. If Umar throws that overhand and Jan dips down, I think Umar can capitalize off that. But I think Piotr Jan still beats him. And unfortunately for Merab gets casted off to the side. He doesn't get his immediate rematch. He might even take another fight because Merab doesn't like to wait around. And I think if he gets a shot at Piotr Jan, it's going to be in the second half of 2026, and Merab's not going to want to wait that long. But luckily for Merab, I think he beats whoever it gets put in front of him. But moving on, okay? John Jones, he is going to fight at the White House in what, June, July, whenever that card's going to be. Do you think Dana White's going to actually stick to his guns and not have John Jones on that card? I mean, think about it. Dana White, that's not Dana White. Holy shit, I just pointed to Donald Trump. Donald Trump seems to like John Jones. And you know what? Look at Dana White smiling over there. Dana White loves Donald Trump. And you know what? Dana White still deep down loves John Jones, even after what's happening. So I think John Jones will fight on the UFC White House card. And who does he fight? One or two people. Either Derek Lewis, because Dana White just said himself, Donald Trump loves Derek Lewis. This is a big fight coming up for him against, who's he facing? Cortez Acosta. But even if he loses that fight, he's going to fight on the White House card. Donald Trump wants it. Donald Trump's going to get it. Or he fights Jamal Hill. I know Jamal Hill wants to fight Joanna. I'm not even going to get into that topic. I'm going to get into a little bit. I think Jamal's maybe not in the wrong there. I think there might be more to that story than we think. Anyways, but John Jones has spoke in the past about fighting Jamal Hill over Tom Aspinall. But you know what? They could be in the octagon on the White House lawn. The glass breaks, the music hits, and out comes Francis Ngannou to fight John Jones at the White House. Now, this is a long shot, okay? Now, obviously, exaggeration, alright? That's not how it would go down. But his contract with PFL is up soon, and all this talk from Dana White, he's already going back on his word with John Jones, so he could bring in Francis Ngannou to fight John Jones at the White House because that would do numbers. That's what he cares about is numbers. He wants to put on a great show for his buddy Donald Trump, but I don't think John Jones would actually want this fight with Francis Ngannou. So this is more of a long shot pick. I think realistically we get a John Jones, Derek Lewis, or John Jones, Jamal Hill. A much more winnable and favorable matchup for John Jones to shine at the White House. Moving on from that though, Paddy Pimblett beats Justin Gaethje for the interim championship. In either this stage an interim title and he fights for the undisputed title or he gets promoted. But you know, more realistically, I think he fights Ilya Topuria maybe at the White House. I'm really stacking up this White House card, but like I said, I think this is their WrestleMania now. This White House card. He doesn't care about anything beyond that. They're putting all their chips into the White House card. So I think Paddy Pimblett could face Ilya Topuria at the White House. Or this fight goes down between Justin and Paddy. Paddy wins it. He gets promoted after a little bit, after a couple months maybe, when the divorce really gets spicy. He gets promoted to undisputed because Topuria has to relinquish the title, and Paddy Pimblett will face either the winner of Charles Oliveira or Max Holloway for the undisputed title. Or not the undisputed title. He will be the undisputed champion in this hypothetical. He faces the winner of either Charles Oliveira or Max Holloway. I don't know who's going to win this fight. I don't even want to predict this fight because, I mean, it's good outcomes, sad outcomes, both sides, no matter what. But at the very, sorry, the very last resort for Dana White to make a fight, a potential fight for Paddy Pimblett, if nothing else, Arman Sarukian. Dana White does not want to see Arman get the title shot, but if Paddy Pimblett is the undisputed champ because Ilya Topuria had to vacate, then I think maybe Arman could get the shot against Paddy for undisputed gold if for some reason it's not Holloway or Oliveira. I don't know why it wouldn't be one of those two, but like I said, realistically, I think it's Paddy Topuria. That's the fight they want. That's the big money selling fight for Dana White right now because that would be a huge fight. But moving on, I think Volkanovski gets past Diego Lopez in January 31st, is it? But even if he doesn't, even if Lopez somehow beats Volkanovski, Volkanovski might retire. But either way, no matter who wins this fight, it's gonna be one of two people to get the next title shot. It's not gonna be Movsar Evelev. It's not gonna be what's his face. I'm blanking. Oh my god. It's not going to be Lerone Murphy. It's not going to be Aljamain Sterling. It's going to be either Yair Rodriguez or if Gene Silver beats Brendan Allen. Am I getting that name right? Hopefully I'm not confusing the 145 with the 185 who just beat Rainer de Ritter. But if Gene Silver wins his next fight, he's gonna get the title shot. If it's not Diego Lopez, if it's Volkanovski, I think he gets the fight against Volk. But it could also be Yair because clearly they're big on Yair Rodriguez getting another title shot. It seems like what they were gonna do that they strayed away from and pushed Volk back until January. But I think it will be one of those two. And my other prediction. I don't think this fight happens. I think this fight doesn't go through. Conor McGregor might mess something up. He's gonna mess something up. Michael Chandler, I could see him being on the White House card against who I don't know. Maybe like Jalen Turner or something. But yeah, I really don't think this fight happens. I hope it happens. It'd be massive. Hopefully not in the main event though of the White House. But I really don't think this is gonna happen. And Hamzat Chimaev, he's gonna face Nasruddin Imavov in whatever May, June, whenever that fight's gonna happen. I don't know. He's gonna face Nasruddin Imavov, and then we're gonna see the disappearance of Hamzat Chimaev again. He's not gonna fight for the rest of the 2026. I predict Hamzat fights one time in 2026. He might even vacate if he successfully defends the title and goes up to light heavyweight, which I don't think he's gonna win. To be honest, those guys seem massive, but who am I to put limitations on somebody else? So who knows what happens? But I think at the end of the day, Hamzat Chimaev fights one time against Nasruddin Imavov in 2026, and then we don't see him again for the rest of the year. And moving on, last but not least, Kamaru Usman. Come on, Kamaru Usman is going to get this title fight against Islam Makhachev. Makhachev double champ status, has won 2 different belts now, and they're gonna hold him out. He's not the most active guy. He fought twice, very opposite ends of the year, but the Dagestanis aren't very active. But one thing they do have not in common. Well, yeah, in common. They both share the same manager, Ali Abdullah Aziz, or Sleaze, depending on who's pronouncing it. So they got the same manager. They got a good relationship. They like Islam. I think for the most part, they like Kamaru. And Kamaru took that fight against Hamzat Chimaev on short notice, up a weight class on top of that. And he said on a podcast like back then that he's doing them a favor. They're gonna do a favor for him. So I do think Kamaru Usman gets the title shot against Islam Makhachev, his first title defense at 170 for Islam in 2026. When I'm not really sure. I'm not gonna put on the White House because I've already said a lot about the White House. But yeah, that's my UFC predictions for 2026. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to like and subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate that. Good night.